If you know the backcountry, you know that the Rocky Mountains have the best to offer. But as a backcountry enthusiast, you also know there are dangers. Throughout the winter, you will have the weekly expert advice right here from our next guest. Please welcome Albi Sol. Albi, program coordinator, instructor, guide, but that's not where it stops. This gentleman also extensive resume, including writing the world's first waterfall ice climbing guide, first climbing ascents in Europe, North America, South America, and the Himalaya. Heli ski guide for 13 years. Man, that must have been fun. Yep. Also, 2008, Albi completed Master of Science researching risk-taking in avalanche terrain, where you are bringing us that information today. Man, what a resume.
It's been good.
It's been okay.
It's been a great ride, actually.
It's been a really great ride. Yeah, you really wanted to focus, though, on avalanche safety.
It's, I think your life has patterns and flow. So one of the things that, I got all this great experience in avalanche risk and managing risk by being a heli ski guide. But then when I get married and I've got kids, it doesn't work with a family. You got to choose between being a heli ski guide and being a dad. And so I chose to be a dad. I got the opportunity to work at the university teaching other people about avalanche safety. And so then that's really become a big focus in my life. And it's been really, really interesting because it's very, very complex. You're dealing with the complexities of avalanches, but also the complexities of how people behave. And figuring out those two things together is really interesting.
So why is it important for someone who's watching right now, who's going to the backcountry, why is it important for them to understand snow?
Well, anyone who's going to the backcountry knows it's a fantastic place to go, and there's tremendous recreational opportunities there. The problem with avalanches is very often it's not an obvious danger. You could be completely safe, you could be in great risk, but you need to know how to read the signs. Some things are real obvious. Traffic, much of the danger is obvious, but with snow it's not. So you do need some knowledge, you need some heads up. Things change, and some of those things are happening deep down the snowpack where our eyes can't see them. So making sure we're up to date with what's going on out there and knowing how to deal with that information is a big part, not just of staying safe, but opening up the door of being able to go out and do that stuff.
Earlier in this half hour, Kate was mentioning about we're getting a warm spell that's going to be popping through our area. And we enjoy Chinooks, but if you're a backcountry enthusiast, that is almost an immediate sign of you got to be cautious. You need to know what you're about to endure.
Right, I'm one of those strange people that actually doesn't feel that great about Chinooks. Brings a lot of wind very often, and that creates additional problems, the rising temperatures. One of the good things, though, is that when it does get warm, it helps settle the snowpack. So when we've got those problematic layers down inside, a warm spell can actually help us deal with some of those layers. So with everything in the avalanche world, it's good on one hand and bad on the other.
We are also curious about the effect the winter has on what effect there will be on the upcoming winter. And we've heard so many different things. We've heard it's going to be cold, it's going to be miserable, and then this week we hear we're going to get plus 10, 12 temperatures. It fluctuates so often, and it can be very frustrating because as a backcountry enthusiast, I don't even know if it's safe anymore.
Well, I think when the weather changes fast, typically that's not a good sign, that's for sure, in terms of danger. But there's always some place that you can go. And so the trick is to recognize that window that, maybe this area is out, but this other area is in. And that's part of how having a bit better understanding of what's going on out there is a real plus.
Right. What does it look like out there right now?
Well,
because we've had, let's see, in September we had all that snow. And I don't know if the mountain parks are still have that same September snow, but then we had a beautiful warm spell. Then we had another dump of snow, and now we're hearing it's supposed to get warm again. So what is it like right now?
So that September snow, that's not really a factor anymore, but we did get some early season snow, but not very much. And that's a problem because we have a really rotten layer at the bottom. We got the big shot last weekend with a lot of snow. So actually we see what's very typical this time of year. The snowpack is quite unstable, quite tricky. Not enough snow to really open the terrain up. This is really the toughest time of year to find safe activities to do. And it coincides with the time when we're just really gung-ho to get out there.
Right. This is the time of year too. This is exactly especially when we see an early snowfall. Backcountry enthusiasts who just love the snow want to get out there. They want to do it right now.
Yeah.
But there are some risks involved, and that's the great thing about what Albi's going to be presenting to us with Snow Talks starting again next week. You'll give us complete updates on things that are happening. Real quickly, there were some incidences in Alberta and BC already.
Yeah, there have definitely been some involvement, especially right here in Alberta. Even before the last snowfall,
Wow.
we had 2 incidents here in Alberta. Everything works out fine for people, but it's that underestimation of how unstable it is, along with that enthusiasm to leap in there and get something done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it all starts next week, and you'll be giving us some regular updates, timely updates, which we need. If you're a backcountry enthusiast, this is something you do not want to miss. It is called Snow Talks. What website are we going to reference people to?
So avalanche.ca
Avalanche.ca
is the place where you get the most information about the current conditions.
Okay, Albi, thanks for this.
Great.
Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to Snow Talks. This will be fun.
It's going to be a great winter.
Good stuff. Appreciate that. Still to come, small business advice. So if you're in the mood to get some advice for free, don't go anywhere. Here's what's happening in and around our city. This is